Okay, so we've got the pocket ready. We are going to now pin this pocket onto the jacket. You will have on your jacket, there would have been dots marked where your pocket goes, and so that you know where this placement is. The advantage I have is that the dots were there, but I also purposely cut this out so that my pattern matches exactly, so that I know where the pocket goes and it's going to sit exactly in the place that matches exactly on the fabric, and so you can see that it transitions to each other very well. But if your fabric is a plain color, you will have had a dot and a dot on your pattern, and you'll line those two corners up, and then it heads straight across and then straight up and down, parallel and perpendicular to center front, which is your grain line. And so you are going to pin this pocket in place. And you will have done the same thing with the pocket that is for the other side of the shirt, the other half of your jacket. And at this point, when they're both pinned on, you can stitch one, and I've got one stitched. So I'm going to bring it over here and line it up, because more than anything, when you wear this jacket, you want your pockets to come straight across the top and to line up. It will look really funny if you pin this on and one pocket ends down here and the other pocket ends up here, and you zip your jacket up and the pockets are offset. And so when you've got one done, as you finish the second one, bring it over, lay it side by side, make certain that the top of those pockets align and come straight across. If they do, then you are good to sew the second pocket onto your jacket so that it aligns with the first one. Okay, so we're ready to go. That lines up. I've got them heading straight across. They line up perfectly, and my print is lining up with the jacket, so I'm good to sew. The pocket is attached to the jacket, just being top stitched in place. And so now that it's pinned in place, you will come to your sewing machine. You can back stitch at the bottom of the pocket, because that is going to either wind up in your hem or in your band, depending upon which option you are using here. Remember, top stitching is defined as 1/4 inch or more away. So yes, the edge of your presser foot is just a little bit more than 1/4 inch, but top stitching can be a little bit more than 1/4 inch, especially if you're on a bulky fabric. So it works out well that you can just simply use the edge of your presser foot to top stitch your pocket in place. And you just go from the edge of the pocket to the front of the jacket. So line up so that your first stitch is right there on the edge of your pocket hem across the top. And again, I'm not back stitching, because this stitching does show on the face of the jacket. And I'm simply just going to stitch that across the top. I can back stitch here at center front, because there will be a seam there with the zipper going up the front there. And so that attaches your jacket, or your pocket, to your jacket. These two threads need now to be pulled through to the inside and a knot tied on the back. So I will quickly do that and then show you the very last step that we need to do. Okay, so I have pulled those threads through and tied a knot. Now we need to reinforce the edge of this pocket, because most of us put our hands, our fists, down inside of our hoodie, and I can't get my hand in here because it's small. We'll put our hands in there, and that puts a great deal of pull or stress on that one single stitch that is holding the pocket to the jacket. And so in order to not have that rip or tear as we put our fists down inside of there, we are going to reinforce the corner there. And so right here on top of my stitching, I am just going to drop the presser foot there, and I'm actually going to go to a zigzag stitch, push number 2 on your machine, and we'll change it to a zigzag stitch. And then, because this is a smaller jacket, I am going to take my width down to just below 3, and then we will always take our length down to that bar there on your sewing machine that shows you are sewing a bar tack area. And then I'm going to get right on top of my stitching there, and I'm just going to sew a short little zigzag bar tack across that stitching. And I'm going to do it on both ends there. And you want your bar tacks to be really very close to the same size, if you will. You don't want one to be quite long and one to be quite short. And so if you look, you can see there's a little bar tack sewn and a little bar tack sewn. That makes it now so as this pocket gets pulled on, it's pulling across 2 stitches rather than on the end of a single stitch, and you are lots less likely, far less likely, to actually rip a hole in your jacket. And so that is the reason that we did that. And now both your pockets will be attached and you are ready to go to the next step.